a lot of people ask me because, after the demise of Twisted, demise of my musical career, I went and did so many things and was successful and brought myself back.
Yeah, you've done so. I mean, dude, you've done everything from writing to hosting to radio to, you having
TV, reality, tons
everything.
Too much
everything.
reality. To Broadway, I've been on Broadway. People ask me, what drove you? And I said, 10% inspiration, 90% desperation.
Wow.
And that desperation, that fear of that fall, of happening again, still drives me. I keep telling my wife, the other day I said, yeah, so, we're entered, a bit in retirement mode. She's like, what? And I said, well, I'm sort of like easing up. She goes, come here. She goes, hands me a legal pad, one of those big, long yellow ones that's like a foot long. She goes, write down the things you're working on right now. I filled an entire page with things I'm working on in different stages. She goes, yeah, we're retiring. I go, well, but I have this terror inside of me because it was such a brutal fall. It was so humbling and it was so ugly and it was so humiliating and devastating to the ego.
To the ego.
That I just started anything. If people would say, do you want it? I go, yes. And they go, I didn't say what yet. I'll do it. Whatever it is. I mean, literally. So when someone said, hey, you got a good voice, you do voiceover. Okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
You should be on radio. You could this, you that. I managed, like I said, anything. If I showed any inclination to be possibly do it, I just started trying to do it.
But no, did you feel like a sellout or did you feel like a survivor?
Well, this is the weird thing. So I'm still trying to keep I've still got fingers in rock and roll. Mm-hmm. First, it's was Widowmaker, and already the bottom's fallen out. So I'm trying to pull out of it with a new band. So I'm putting on the facade when I go out of still being a rock star, not letting people in and let them know the truth.
Wow.
Never invite them back to the house.
Yeah.
Never, So and why wouldn't they believe that? He still had money left.
Will.
He made millions. Why? How? Who would assume he blew it?
Millions last forever, as far as people are concerned.
Yeah, right. Especially if he's not telling you he blew everything. So I'm putting on the facade and not letting people know. So when I'm walking around the streets, I've got the baseball hat on and hair's pulled back. At that point, that people aren't used to the pulled back hair. And if people say, "Hey, aren't you?" I go, no, I'm not. And my kids know. Everybody calls me Fred. My wife calls me Fred in the stores. Hey, Fred. And so she knows not to call me D. And so I'm hiding my shame, so no, I'm definitely, it was brutal, man. It was brutal.
But yeah, I feel to me, you really seem like a survivor. It's so hard. I don't think people realize how hard it is to stay relevant and working in this business for a lifetime.
Thank you, and I think you're paying me a comment, and I
am. It's impossible,
but it's not by design.
Right.
I saw an article in a business magazine that cited Dee Snider as branding himself. He used me as an example, and I was like, well, and it was beautiful the way they wrote out what I did, and they sort of broke it down and analyzed, like how how thought out this was.
And none of that was by design.
I was going, holy shit, no, I'm just. I actually would slam my name on everything. I would tell people, just put your name on everything. But even that started happening by accident.
Right.
Where it wound up being on a movie I did, Dee Snider's Strangeland. And then all of a sudden it was, okay, well, House of Hair, Dee Snider's House of Hair. And so it's slam, Dee Snider. But it was never some thought out, like
so
rebranding.
Funny. Right when you and I started communicating, I said, man, I don't know if there's anybody who's branded himself. That's the first thing that popped into my head. As well as Dee Snider.
And now I literally had to register my name. It's copywritten and it's a trademark. Dee Snider brand, But it was not some brilliant. I would love to say yes, I knew it all along. So it was just like white noise of screaming in the darkness, and just and made it work.
So it's not as much masterminding as much as it is just mining every moment, kind of.
Yeah, and just brute dumb force, just forcing it. It's a square peg, just fuck it, I can get it in the round hole. Somehow I'll wear the edges, whatever. It really, there's no genius to it at all. Honestly, do I have talents? I clearly had some,
Undeniably.
and I developed them.
Yeah.
Because like radio, I always liked radio. My book was called Shut Up and Give Me the Mic. I love radio. I love the forum. But as my agent said, look, you don't walk off of a concert stage into a 6-figure radio gig.
Mm-hmm.
It happened once. David Lee Roth replacing Howard Stern. Anybody? You ever hear that? Remember that? Did you see
Yeah,
that?
no.
You know that? Oh my God. It was catastrophic. Because just because you can sing doesn't mean you can be an air personality.
Yeah.
They're two different skills. So I had to go and do the metal show a couple hours a week and slowly develop that
had to put in the
talent.
pieces.
Yeah, writing. I wrote the Twist Sister videos, but it was just me going, all right, well, the father's yelling at the kid, and then the kid turns into Dee Snider, and he kicks his ass. That was me writing the video.
Yeah.
With Marty Callner, credit to Marty Callner, the director, for developing and recognizing that I had some kind of brilliance. But then I said, well, I want to write these things, and I had to study screenplay writing. And I've sold a number of shows and a number of, I've got a number of things now and movies and things like that. I've had things produced, but that was a craft that you have to develop. It just doesn't come to you.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. And if you want to see another clip, then you can look at this clip or this clip, either one of these. So did you pick one, or are you still just watching me do this? Because this is alarming.